Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Following the release of the State of Capture report by former Public Protector Thuli Madonsela, the risk of investing in South African mining is heightened. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks.
Tell us about the impact that Thuli Madonsela's report could have on mining investment.
I think we can kiss honest, good investment goodbye, because this is like the last straw that broke the camel's back. The credibility of our regulators has been impugned now over and over again. But now you get this officially observed by a public protector, a person who's put in position by law. It's a statutory position. And her observations are that there are irregularities going through the system. And that's just on the mining side. Of course, the report was far broader. But the way that she indicated that the regulator, which is the Department of Mineral Resources, is handling things like rehabilitation funds. Made your hair stand on end. I mean, these are funds for Mother Earth. Mother Earth has been disturbed, and you've got a legislative requirement that you have to put forward money. And that money is ring-fenced, and the interest accumulates there as well. You cannot remove that until the mine closes, and then you use that to restore Mother Earth to what it should be. It's a very important environmental protection. In the case of the observation by the Public Protector, this is not properly secure. It's moving around. Nobody knows where the interest is. And the way that the gifts are given to interested parties in an irregular manner in order to get them up and running as miners is so irregular. To get vast prepayments, to get a minister involved in actually doing this deal for a coal mining enterprise, flying outside the country, as she observed, to tie up certain deals and give guarantees. Then the new people coming in, getting a better financial arrangement than the old people who were complaining about the financial arrangement. I mean, this is Banana Republic stuff, So anyone in their right mind will not go in and invest now. I mean, they haven't been investing for a long time. But this, will just reinforce the feeling that, there's something rotten in the state of Denmark.
And as you previously said, the integrity of our regulatory framework is just being punctured very seriously.
That's right. I mean, here we see this regulatory framework, which is already notorious and under question. We've now got official observers looking at it and reporting that this could be breaking several laws. It couldn't be more statutory. It's at a high level. And although we've sort of been observing this at a distance, we've given the regulator the benefit of the doubt at our peril. And we've been hearing for a long time about people looking for mining licenses, being told, don't meet us in the Pretoria offices, don't meet us in the official offices, meet us in Middelburg, in a cafe, and then we will discuss this. What is all this clandestine activity about? We've also had instances of duplication of the same mineral rights being given to different people. So what is going on there? They have to do this in the open. In the case of the money required to restore and rehabilitate, it must be on the internet. Is that so hard? That this is recording, this money has been given in, where it's how much interest is being accumulated, what bank it's in, so that you know exactly. This is an important thing for our grandkids. I mean, they've got to make sure that the holes we dig become great when we leave the place. As we've seen, with various rehabilitations, it's sometimes a pleasure to behold. But if the money's not there, what are they going to do when this starts to play out? And we should also see them drawing on that money, how much they're drawing on. It should all be transparent, fully transparent for everybody to see, because this is public. This is part of a statute. This is the law. So why hide it? And then with regard to the application for licenses, we've been hearing for a long time that cadastre there, which is digital, is a huge problem. You can't get to see what you have to see. Whereas we know that in South Africa, they've got systems that have been built here, that have been offered to our Department of Mineral Resources. And our Department of Mineral Resources has spurned them and said, no, we'll build our own SAMRAD. The SAMRAD has been criticized left, right and center for its opacity. It just doesn't work the way it should. Whereas the system that was created here, the Flexi Cadastre, it's being used by Mozambique, it's being used by Namibia, it's being used by Zambia, it's even been used in Greenland because everybody finds it so good and it's developed here. It shows you can sit in New York and have a look at which mining licenses begin, which mineral licenses beginning, which exploration license, where there is exploration available. That is the way you get investment. You can't do it with ours. And of course, the DMR, we've given it the benefit of the doubt, and they have actually betrayed our trust because we can see that it's not working when you get a person who's part of a statutory arrangement like the Public Protector observing and saying this could break this law, that could break this law. Really, they can't allow this to go on.
The passing of the Minerals Bill has again failed to de-risk mining investment.
And then we get the Minerals Bill. I can remember going to the mining in Durban, I think 2011, I've seen so many ministers, and they will promise, no, we're going to reform it. So you've got this MPRDA, it's the minerals legislation of the country, and they'll say, no, we're taking it back, we're going to rewrite it. They take it back and rewrite it, and it becomes hair-raising because it's like, everybody has a different bit to add in. It becomes so complicated. So it came back to Parliament 2.5 years ago. And it was passed by Parliament, believe it or not, until people had to rush to the executive and the president and say, look at this, look at that, this could go against our constitution. And we've got to give the president his due. He looked at it and he said, I think maybe you're right. And he sent it back. They must re-look at it. They come back 2.5 years later. They've tweaked little things, hardly significant. And it's just as bad as it was. And they pass it through the Assembly again. They pass it through the National Assembly. Now everybody's hoping and holding thumbs that in the National Councils of Provinces, that shouldn't be the way we take things here. And it was only the House of Traditional Leaders that came up with any wisdom, saying make the system of applying for licenses, awarding licenses, fully transparent. Even take it away from the DMR, as they do in other countries. The regulatory body does not do that. The regulatory body regulates. It doesn't award. And you have a court, like in Chile or something, someone totally independent, arm's length, giving out those licenses. But we're still in limbo. So, if you look at what mining can do for a country, if you go to Toronto and you look at those high-rise buildings and the economy, the way it's been infused with vigor by legislation that has facilitated activity, not only in Canada, but in Africa, around the world, because they know that you can really lift your economy. You can also get foreign direct investment, which is so important. People from outside your country are putting money inside your country. That is very important. But then you've got in the ground metals and minerals that you can take out of that ground and you can add value to them and you can sell them, which brings money into your country, called foreign exchange. Such an important thing, because if you get a lot of foreign exchange, you can be a country that sells things and also buys things. So that's why we see the fancy cars, because we're importing the fancy cars, but we're not exporting enough, and we could do much more. This city, Joburg, is an example of the sort of sustainability that gold mining can give you. It's given us so many linkages that even though there's no real gold mining to talk of anymore, you've still got economic activity going. You've still got water coming up the Rand water, because in the early 1900s, we were the only gold mining city. Well, we were a gold mining city, but we were away from a river. Probably the only city in the world that is not on a river. You know, all cities are on a river. We were on gold, and our river was much lower down, the Vaal. So the mining fraternity got around and formed Rand Water, and they defied gravity. They pumped that water using steam coal power to pump that water up here. And at one stage, you know, we did the calculations, they were delivering a ton of fresh, good, better than purified water, better than Perrier water, a ton delivered for 13 cents. I mean, incredible achievement. So that is what mining can bring, because, you know, the mines needed the water, then you get the water. And it's the same as the mines needed the electricity, we all got the electricity. We used to have the cheapest electricity here in the world. We used to have the mines paying 2 cents, you know, a kilowatt hour. I mean, it was like unbelievable, because this was an enabler so that you could get your gold out. That's where you made the money. And we were the biggest gold mining company. Now we're smaller than we were in 1994, and getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That should be penalized. The people who have caused that, and we know who they are, they should be had up in court, because grandkids now are going to suffer because of the way they've behaved. They haven't allowed poor people to develop because of their bad behavior. You know, we've been hearing about the Department of Minerals and Energy. People put in a application for a mining right. They even promised, the one big company promised that they'd build a big city around their manganese development in the Northern Cape. But what did the deputy director of the DMR do at that time? He put this in his bottom drawer. And people came to him and he said, yes, I withstood the accusations that we were very inefficient, but I knew we must hold it there until we can select the race groups who are going to get this. Now, who suffers with this? Little kids coming through. The economy suffers because of this action. Now, this person actually revealed this in a meeting. And it's not as if, you know, you had to squeeze it out of him in the court of law. He revealed it in a public meeting, saying that I had selected the race groups who should have this, and therefore I'd done a very good thing. You know, if you look at people talking about white monopoly capital, there's no such thing. That capital going into the Johannesburg Stock Exchange has no colour, because it's mainly made up of provident funds, of pension funds, to which everybody belongs in South Africa. And this should be a realization point, that we're all in this together. And the diversity of the people in South Africa can make this country great. We can be the fastest growing country on the continent. And if we do get to that status, we should then aim to be the fastest growing country economically in the world. And we can do it. But you get people holding back for their own self, narrow interests. You always find that something is benefiting them somewhere along the way. So they're not looking and putting South Africa first. They're putting also the other interests first, and that must end.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashnee.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.